It's one of my favorite places. It's the streets of Oklahoma City, and we picked a particularly great night to do this interview. Dave Morris, News OK. I'm here with one of the hardest working guys I know, Steve Lackmeyer from the business desk of the Oklahoman, also of OKC Central fame. And that's what we're going to talk about here today, Steve, is looking back at 2009 and looking ahead at 2010, the movers and shakers of the business world of Oklahoma City and growth and development. And so, from your opinion, what were some of the top storylines of 2009?
Well, obviously the recession was huge. It's been a national story. They said Oklahoma was recession-proof, especially Oklahoma City. Well, that wasn't true. It has affected downtown momentum, but it's not stopped it.
In fact, kind of highlight that. How has Oklahoma City and Oklahoma in general handled this?
Well, let's start with downtown housing. It was going at quite a clip through 2008. Certainly, it has come to a crawl. We've seen several prominent projects stopped. Especially the Hill in Deep Deuce. Construction stopped about late 2008, and it still hadn't resumed as of December. We also have seen projects that were on the boards put on hold, like the Flatiron, like the Leslie. But we've seen other projects progress, most notably this small tower project there in Sheridan, if you want to talk about that.
In fact, what Steve is talking about is from Devon, which will dramatically change our skyline, correct?
Yeah, construction is proceeding. There are some doubters who are thinking, with oil prices collapsing, it's not going to happen. It is being built, 50-story tower. It is a $750 million project. It's got a lot of construction workers downtown. It's really boosted some businesses, too. It's really quite amazing. And let's talk about 180 for just a second. There's been a lot of talk about maps. There's been a lot of talk about Quarter Shore. Project 180 is just spectacular on its own. It's $115 million being plowed back into downtown as a result of the Devon Tax Increment Finance District.
You give us some highlights on your blog every day on OKCCentral.com about this, but go into detail for the average citizen. What does this mean for them?
Well, what it means is you're going to have a spectacular downtown. You're going to have a Myriad Gardens that actually functions right. It's going to have some restaurant space, nice skating rink. It's going to have a children's play area. It's going to have an amphitheater. It's totally different. Crystal Bridge is being reglazed. But more importantly, the streets are being rebuilt. All new lighting, all new sidewalks, new street furniture. It's just going to give downtown a world-class feel. I mean, it really is going to help in our aspirations to go to becoming a Tier 2 city.
And is that the reason for the name? It's, a complete 180?
Complete 180, and it's 180 acres we're talking about. By all accounts, unprecedented. No city has done a project on this scale this rapidly, done within 4 years.
Before I ask you to break out the crystal ball for 2010, let me ask you something about this. Looking back on 2009, and with social media really coming to a forefront, are you seeing, from your beat, more people getting involved, more voices in the mix?
Absolutely. Urban Neighbors was started only a couple of years ago. It draws an average of 100 or more people to every social they have every month. They were very involved in getting some custom designed bike racks downtown. They've been very involved in pursuing transit for downtown. They've just been an incredible addition to the mix downtown. You're seeing more and more events at the Oklahoma City Museum of Art. The memorial is continuing to draw crowds. Just people are more involved. People are out in the streets. There's more festivities. And let's not forget some fairly new events like Dead Center Film Festival. How incredible is that? It's drawing tons of creative filmmakers to downtown. Viewings all over the place. The Ghouls Gone Wild Parade has been quite a hit.
Thousands of people showed up for that?
Yes, and it's growing every year. And I'm very disappointed that the Academy of Contemporary Music could only draw Roger Daltrey. I mean, it's only the third greatest band in rock history. Why couldn't we go for number one? I mean, it's...
Perhaps that's something to aim for in 2010. And speaking of such, what do you see on the horizon?
Well, there's some big things ahead. I think we're going to see more retail. It's been emerging in Auto Alley and in Bricktown. I'm hearing a lot of buzz about apartment activity picking back up. It's going to be very difficult with the national situation on mortgages to get for sale housing back going, but apartment development I think we're going to see more of. We're going to see some prominent new retailers come to Bricktown, the way it's looking. And most importantly, we're going to see some significant celebrations coming up. The Skirvin right behind us, they'll be preparing for their centennial. We're also likely going to see some I'm hearing buzz about a potential corporation or two moving into space that'll be freed up by Devon. We'll see if that happens, but there's rumors out there to that effect.
There you have it, people. Steve dropping some knowledge, as he does all the time in the business section of the Oklahoman. Colin comes out every Tuesday, but you can catch him around the clock at OKCCentral.com. Be sure to read his latest book. It's on the Skirvin. It came out December 2nd. So, for all things business, stay with Steve on News OK and OKCCentral.com. And that'll do it from a beautiful night overlooking the Oklahoma City skyline.
Downtown Oklahoma City didn't have much going for it in 1987 when a group of Leadership Oklahoma City alumni planned to host a big party for New Year's Eve. At the time, about 13 cities across the country were hosting arts festivities in their downtowns as a way to celebrate New Year's Eve. For that first year, opening night turned downtown Oklahoma City into a theater, with individual building lobbies, store windows, street corners, and plazas functioning as stages, orchestra pits, and dressing rooms. The night was an instant hit with thousands of revelers, with festivities capped with a parade and fireworks display. More than 18,000 people attended the debut opening night. The 11 downtown restaurants that agreed to stay open that night, meanwhile, found themselves overwhelmed with business. Just a couple of years later, the crowd count was up to 40,000, and year after year, the party grew in size. The night continues to evolve each year, with new traditions including a concert by hometown musical heroes the Flaming Lips. But after more than 20 years, the night remains a celebration of the city's arts community with festivities for young and old. These images and more can be obtained at News OK.